The gunshot shattered the window behind my head. I screamed, instinctively ducking as glass rained down like deadly confetti. Strong arms wrapped around me, yanking me backward against a solid chest that smelled of cedar and gunpowder. "Stay down," a deep voice commanded in my ear, his Korean accent thick with authority. My heart hammered against my ribs as more bullets peppered the penthouse walls. Who was shooting at us? Where was I? And why couldn't I remember how I got here? Move. Now. The man, whoever he was, half carried, half dragged me across the marble floor toward a bookshelf that suddenly swung open, revealing a hidden room. We tumbled inside. The door sealed shut with a heavy click, muffling the chaos outside. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing everything in crimson. That's when I finally looked at him. He was beautiful in a dangerous way. Sharp jawline, intense dark eyes that seemed to see straight through me, perfectly styled black hair now slightly disheveled. He wore an expensive suit with the jacket discarded, his white shirt rolled up to reveal forearms corded with muscle. Blood stained his collar. "You're hurt," I gasped. "It's not mine." He studied me with unsettling intensity. "Are you injured?" I shook my head, then immediately regretted it as the room spun. I don't understand. Where am I? Who are you?" Something flickered across his face, surprise, maybe concern. "You don't remember?" "Remember what?" Panic clawed up my throat. The last thing I remember is giving a speech at the gala, and then, the memory hit me like a freight train. The dizziness. The fall. And him, catching me before I hit the ground. "You caught me," I whispered. His expression softened almost imperceptibly. "I did." "That was, how long ago?" 3 days. 3 days? I scrambled to my feet, ignoring how my legs shook. "You've kept me here for 3 days? That's kidnapping. That's saving your life." His voice cut through my panic like a blade. "The champagne you drank at the gala was poisoned, Miss Washington. If I hadn't brought you here, to my personal physician, you'd be dead." "Maya. My name is Maya Washington." The facts slowly assembled themselves in my foggy brain. I'm 28 years old. I'm an art curator from Atlanta. I came to Seoul to showcase African American artists. The gala was supposed to be my big break. Poisoned? The word felt foreign on my tongue. Why would anyone poison me? He moved closer, and I noticed how he favored his left side. Definitely injured, no matter what he claimed. That's what I've been trying to determine. "My name is Lee Joon-ho. I'm the CEO of Beko Group." The name meant nothing to me, but the way he said it, like everyone should know, sent warning bells ringing. What kind of CEO needs a panic room with bulletproof walls? I challenged. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "The kind who has enemies, Miss Washington. And now, unfortunately, those enemies believe you're important to me. But I'm not. I don't even know you. They don't know that." His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his jaw tightening. "The building is secure. We can leave the safe room." When the door opened, I wasn't prepared for the destruction. The beautiful penthouse I'd woken up in 3 days ago, though I barely remembered it, was torn apart. Bullet holes punctured the walls. The floor-to-ceiling windows were shattered. Artwork lay in ruins. A man in a black suit approached, speaking rapid Korean to Joon-ho. I caught only a few words, my Korean was basic at best. "English, Min-suk," Joon-ho said quietly. "Miss Washington should understand what's happening." Min-suk's eyes flicked to me, cold and assessing. The Jade Serpents claimed responsibility. They wanted to send a message. "What message?" I demanded. "That anyone associated with me is a target." Joon-ho's voice was eerily calm. "Min-suk, have the penthouse secured and arrange." "No. I stepped forward, surprised by my own boldness. No, I want answers. Real answers. Who are you? What's Baekho Group? And why the hell are people shooting at us? Joon-ho studied me for a long moment. Then he dismissed Min-suk with a curt nod and turned to face me fully. You want the truth, Miss Washington? My family built an empire that operates in both the legitimate business world and, let's say, the shadows beneath it. When my father died, I inherited everything. Including his enemies. My blood ran cold. You're telling me you're in the Mafia. I'm telling you that in Seoul, power isn't always acquired through legal means. And the Jade Serpents want my territory. He poured himself a drink from a miraculously intact bar cart. They saw me catch you at the gala. Saw how I carried you out myself instead of calling an ambulance. They assumed you were someone important to me. But I'm not, I repeated, hating how my voice shook. No, he agreed. You were just a beautiful woman who fainted in front of me. But I couldn't let you fall. Beautiful. The word hung in the air between us. So what now? I wrapped my arms around myself. You keep me here as bait? I keep you here because if I let you go, they'll torture you for information you don't have, then kill you to hurt me. He downed his drink in one swallow. I won't let that happen. You can't just decide that. I have a life, a career, people who are worried about me. Your colleague Sarah Chin has been told you caught a severe flu and are recovering privately. Your friend Keisha in Atlanta has been receiving text messages from your phone. As far as the world knows, you're fine. Rage bubbled up, hot and sharp. You've been impersonating me? I've been protecting you. He set down his glass with deliberate care. Whether you believe it or not. I wanted to scream. To throw something. To wake up from this nightmare. Instead, I heard myself ask, how long? How long what? How long do I have to stay here? Joon-ho's expression was unreadable. Until I eliminate the threat. Could be weeks. Could be months. Months? The word came out as a broken whisper. He crossed the space between us in 3 strides. Up close, I could see the exhaustion around his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. This wasn't easy for him either. I know this isn't what you wanted, he said softly. I know you see me as your captor. But I meant what I whispered when you first woke up in my arms 3 days ago. My breath caught. What did you say? His hand lifted, almost touching my face before he caught himself and let it fall. You are mine now. Not as property, Miss Washington. As my responsibility. My vow. I failed to protect someone once before, his voice roughened. I won't fail again. There was a story there, painful and raw. Despite everything, the guns, the danger, the insanity of this situation, I found myself wanting to know it. Maya, I said quietly. If you're going to hold me prisoner, at least call me Maya. Something shifted in his expression. Softened. Maya, he repeated, like he was tasting my name. You should rest. You're still recovering. I've been resting for 3 days. Then let me show you the penthouse. What's left of it, anyway. The corner of his mouth lifted. Consider it a tour of your gilded cage. I should have been terrified. Should have been planning my escape. But as Joon-ho led me through his bullet-riddled home, explaining which priceless artwork was ruined and which miraculously survived, I realized something disturbing. Part of me didn't want to leave. The next morning, I woke to find designer clothes laid out on the chair beside my bed. Not just any clothes, perfectly sized silk blouses, tailored pants, even underwear that somehow fit exactly right. I should have been creeped out. Instead, I was furious. I stormed out of the guest bedroom in yesterday's wrinkled dress, following the scent of coffee to a kitchen that looked like something from a magazine. Joon-ho stood by the espresso machine, now dressed in casual clothes, black slacks and a fitted gray sweater that did nothing to hide his build. "How do you know my sizes?" I demanded. He didn't even look surprised by my entrance. "Good morning to you too, Maya. Coffee?" "Answer the question." "I had Min-suk retrieve your measurements from the boutique where you bought your gala dress." He poured 2 cups with practiced ease. "Cream, no sugar." "You ordered it that way at the gala." The fact that he'd noticed made my stomach flutter traitorously. "You can't just buy me things. Would you prefer to wear the same dress every day?" He finally turned to face me, and I saw the dark circles under his eyes. He hadn't slept. "I'm trying to make this bearable for you." Bearable would be letting me go home. Home to what? A hospital bed or a morgue? His voice sharpened. "The jade serpents don't make idle threats, Maya. Yesterday's attack was just reconnaissance. Next time, they'll bring more men." I took the coffee he offered, hating that it was perfect. "So what's your plan? Keep me locked up forever while you have some gang war?" "The plan is to cut off the serpent's head before they strike again." He leaned against the counter, studying me. "Their leader is a man named Kong Dae-young. He wants my shipping routes, my connections, my legitimacy. He'll use any leverage he can find." "And I'm leverage." "Yes." At least he was honest. I sipped my coffee, trying to organize my thoughts. "Tell me about her." His expression shuddered immediately. "Who?" "The person you failed to protect. You mentioned it yesterday." For a long moment, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then he set down his cup with deliberate care. "My sister. Min-ji." His voice was hollow. She was 16. Beautiful, brilliant, wanted to be a doctor. I was 21, freshly in charge of my father's empire, thought I was invincible. He paused, and I saw his hands tighten on the counter's edge. "The serpents took her to force my cooperation. I refused to negotiate with them, thought I could rescue her through force. By the time we found her." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Don't be sorry. Just understand why I won't let history repeat itself." His eyes met mine, and the intensity there stole my breath. "You're not Min-ji. You're not weak or helpless. But you are in danger because of me, and I will do whatever it takes to keep you safe." The conviction in his voice made something crack in my chest. This wasn't just about protection or responsibility. There was something deeper, something he maybe didn't even understand himself. "What happens when this is over?" I asked. "Assuming we both survive. You go back to your life. Your career. Your world." He said it like a death sentence. "You forget you ever met me. And if I don't want to forget?" The words escaped before I could stop them. Joon-ho's eyes widened fractionally, the most surprise I'd seen from him. "Maya." His phone rang, shattering the moment. He answered in Korean, his expression growing darker with each word. When he hung up, he looked at me with something like regret. "There's someone here who insists on seeing you. To verify you're alive and unharmed." Hope surged through me. "Who?" "Your colleague. Sarah Chen." Sarah burst into the penthouse like a hurricane in Chanel, her usual bubbly demeanor replaced by barely contained fury. "Maya. Oh my God, you look," she stopped, taking in the destroyed windows, the bullet holes, the armed guards. "What the hell is going on?" I rushed to hug her, feeling tears prick my eyes. "Sarah, I'm okay. I promise." "Okay? Okay?" She pulled back, gripping my shoulders. "You disappear for 3 days with some cryptic text about being sick, your phone goes straight to voicemail, and when I finally tracked you down through Min-suk's company contacts, she whirled on Joon-ho. What have you done to her?" "Miss Chen." Joon-ho's voice was dangerously calm. "I understand your concern, but perhaps we should discuss this privately. No. I stepped between them. Sarah deserves the truth. So I told her. Everything. The poisoning, the jade serpents, the attack. With every word, Sarah's face grew paler. This is insane, she breathed when I finished. Maya, we need to call the police, the embassy. The police can't protect her, Joon-ho interjected. Half of them are on someone's payroll, mine or the serpents. The embassy would deport her, making her a target the moment she lands in America. Here, with me, she's guarded 24/7. Here, with you, she's a prisoner. Sarah shot back. Here, with him, I'm alive, I said quietly. Sarah stared at me like I'd grown a second head. You're defending him? Maya, he's a criminal. He's also the reason I'm not dead. I couldn't believe I was saying this. Sarah, I know how this looks, but... How it looks? It looks like Stockholm Syndrome. She grabbed my hand. Come with me. Right now. We'll figure out protection, we'll. She stays. Joon-ho's voice cut through the room like a blade. Min-suk, escort Miss Chin out. Don't you dare touch me. Sarah jerked away from the approaching bodyguard. Maya, please. This isn't you. You're scared and confused, and he's manipulating. I'm making my own choice, I interrupted, surprising myself with the conviction in my voice. I'm staying. The silence that followed was deafening. Sarah looked between Joon-ho and me, and something like understanding and horror dawned on her face. Oh no. Oh, Maya, no. Her voice softened. You have feelings for him. Did I? My heart hammered. I'd known him less than a week. He was dangerous, controlling, living a life completely opposite to everything I believed in. But when I looked at him, I saw the man who caught me when I fell. Who stayed awake all night to protect me. Who carried the weight of his sister's death like an anchor around his neck. I barely know him, I said, but it sounded weak even to my ears. That's not a denial. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. God, Maya. What are you doing? Surviving, I whispered. Sarah left with promises to check on me daily and threats toward Joon-ho that would have been funny in any other context. When the door closed behind her, the penthouse felt emptier. You didn't have to stay, Joon-ho said quietly. You could have left with her. And put her in danger too? I shook my head. The serpents saw us together at the gala. They probably already know she's my friend. I have men watching her. She'll be safe. Like I'm safe? The words came out more bitter than I intended. He flinched. Maya. No, you're right. I am safe. Safer than I'd be anywhere else. I turned to face him fully. But Sarah was right about one thing. This is insane. All of it. And the craziest part? What? I'm starting to think I don't want to leave. The confession hung between us like a lit match near gasoline. Joon-ho crossed the distance between us in 2 strides, stopping just inches away. Close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from his body. Don't say things like that, he said roughly. Don't make this harder than it already is. Harder for who? My pulse raced. You're the one keeping me here. I'm keeping you alive. And what are you doing to yourself? I reached up, daring to touch the collar of his sweater where I could see the edge of a bandage. You were hurt in the attack. You haven't slept. You're carrying. His hand caught mine, holding it against his chest. I could feel his heartbeat, racing as fast as mine. I'm carrying you, he said softly. The weight of your safety. Your anger. Your fear. And now. His thumb traced circles on my wrist. This. Whatever this is between us. This is dangerous, I whispered, but I didn't pull my hand away. Everything about me is dangerous, Maya. His eyes searched mine. You should be running as far from me as possible. Then why are you still holding my hand? He didn't answer. Instead, he released me abruptly and stepped back, running his hand through his hair. I need to check on something. Min-suk will be outside if you need anything. He left before I could respond, and I stood there in the destroyed penthouse, my wrist still tingling where he'd touched me. What was I doing? Sarah was right, this was insane. I should be demanding my freedom, calling the embassy, doing anything except developing feelings for a man who'd literally kept me prisoner. Except he wasn't just my captor. He was also my protector. My what? I didn't even know. I spent the rest of the day exploring the penthouse more thoroughly. Despite the attack damage, it was stunning. Modern art decorated the walls, pieces I recognized from prestigious galleries. A library filled with books in Korean, English, and Japanese. And everywhere, subtle signs of the man who lived here, a chess set mid-game on a side table, classical music vinyl records, a photograph of a young girl with Joon-ho's eyes. Min-ji. His sister. She was beautiful, a voice said behind me. I turned to find Joon-ho in the doorway, now wearing a fresh black shirt. He looked less exhausted but more guarded. She has your smile, I said, studying the photo. Or you have hers. Had. His voice was rough. Past tense. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. It's fine. He moved closer, taking the photo from my hands with surprising gentleness. She would have liked you. Min-ji always championed the underdogs, the outsiders trying to prove themselves. He glanced at me. She would have admired what you're doing with African American art in Korea. The fact that he knew the details of my work shouldn't have surprised me, he'd probably had me investigated thoroughly. But it still made my heart skip. Would have, I repeated. You talk about her like she's completely gone. But she's not. She's in you, in the choices you make. The choices I make? He laughed bitterly. Maya, I run a criminal empire. I've killed people. I've done things that would horrify you. Have you killed anyone who didn't deserve it? The question seemed to catch him off guard. That's not the point. It's exactly the point. I moved closer, emboldened. You're not your father. Min-suk told me while you were gone, you've been systematically dismantling the worst parts of your organization. The human trafficking, the drug trade. You've made enemies because you refuse to profit from human suffering. Min-suk talks too much, Joon-ho muttered, but I saw something flicker in his eyes. Hope, maybe? He's loyal to you. They all are. That means something. It means they're well paid. No. I shook my head. Money doesn't buy the kind of loyalty I saw yesterday when they threw themselves in front of bullets for you. That's earned. We stood there in his library, surrounded by books and ghosts, the afternoon sun streaming through the intact windows on the east side. Joon-ho looked at me like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Why aren't you afraid of me? He asked finally. I am afraid of you, I admitted. Terrified, actually. But not because I think you'll hurt me. I took a breath. I'm afraid because when I'm with you, I forget all the reasons I should want to leave. His jaw clenched. Maya. Don't. I held up a hand. Don't tell me it's not real or that it's just adrenaline or Stockholm syndrome like Sarah said. I've spent my whole life being told what I should feel, what I should want, who I should be. My father said I'd never make it as a curator. The art world said I didn't belong. And now you're telling me I can't. I didn't get to finish because Joon-ho kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate and fierce, his hands cupping my face like I might disappear. I gasped against his mouth, and he took the opportunity to deepen the kiss, backing me against the bookshelf. Books tumbled around us, forgotten. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to mine. I can't give you a normal life, he said hoarsely. I can't take you to dinner without bodyguards. Can't promise you safety or stability. Everything I touch turns dangerous. I don't want normal, I whispered back. I want real. And this, I touched his face. This feels more real than anything I've ever known. You're going to destroy me, he said, but he kissed me again, softer this time. Tender. Like I was something precious. We spent the evening in that library, talking. Really talking. He told me about his childhood, the weight of expectations, his father's brutality, the day Minji was born and he'd held her for the first time and vowed to protect her. I failed, he said quietly. And I've spent every day since trying to become someone who would never fail again. You're human, Joon-ho. Humans fail. Not when it matters. I told him about my own failures, how my father left when I was 12, calling my art childish dreams. How I'd worked 3 jobs to put myself through college. How I'd faced rejection after rejection from galleries that didn't think urban black art was sophisticated enough for their collections. They were fools, Joon-ho said with such conviction that I almost believed it. Maybe. But their rejection taught me to be stronger. I leaned against him on the leather couch. Pain shapes us. Your sister's death, my father's abandonment, they hurt, but they made us who we are. And who are you, Maya Washington? His arm was around my shoulders, his fingers tracing absent patterns on my skin. I'm still figuring that out, I admitted. But being here, with you, it's like seeing myself clearly for the first time. Without the expectations, without the fear of judgment. That's because you're in a gilded cage, he said. Wait until reality comes back. Reality is already here. I sat up to face him. There are men trying to kill us. I'm stuck in a penthouse with a mafia boss. That's pretty damn real. He smiled then, a real smile that transformed his entire face. You're remarkable, you know that? I'm stubborn. Stubborn. Brave. Beautiful. He tucked a curl behind my ear. And completely wrong for me. Good thing I don't care what's wrong or right anymore. We kissed again, slower this time. Exploring. Learning each other. His hands slid into my hair, and I pressed closer, wanting to eliminate any distance between us. Then his phone rang. Ignore it, I whispered against his lips. I can't. He pulled back reluctantly. When Min-suk calls this late, it's important. He answered in Korean, but I watched his expression change from relaxed to furious in seconds. He stood, pacing. When? A pause. How many? Another pause, longer this time. Prepare the cars. We leave in 10 minutes. He hung up and looked at me with something like anguish. What's wrong? I stood too, fear creeping back in. The jade serpents just attacked one of my warehouses. Killed 3 of my men. His voice was cold, controlled, the voice of the CEO, not the man who'd kissed me moments ago. They're escalating. What does that mean? It means they're getting desperate. And desperate men do foolish things. He pulled out a gun from a drawer I hadn't noticed, checking the magazine with practiced ease. I need to handle this. Min-suk will stay here with you. No. I grabbed his arm. Don't go. It could be a trap. It's definitely a trap. He covered my hand with his. Which is why I need to spring it. They want me distracted, vulnerable. If I don't respond, they'll think I'm weak. If you do respond, you could die. I've been dying slowly since I was 21, he said quietly. At least this way serves a purpose. Don't say that. Tears burned my eyes. Joon-ho, please. He kissed me hard and fast. Lock yourself in the safe room if anything happens. Promise me. I promise if you promise to come back. I'll come back, he said. I have something worth coming back to now. Then he was gone, and I was alone with Min-suk and the terrible certainty that I'd just fallen completely in love with a man who might not survive the night. The waiting was torture. I paced the penthouse like a caged animal, checking my watch every 30 seconds. Min-suk stood by the door, impassive as a statue, but I saw his jaw clench every time his phone buzzed with updates. Tell me what's happening, I demanded for the 10th time. Mr. Lee is handling the situation, he replied in his careful English. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give you, Miss Washington. 2 hours. It had been 2 hours since Joon-ho left, and every minute felt like an eternity. I thought about his last words, I have something worth coming back to now, and felt my chest tighten. What if he didn't come back? What if right now, he was bleeding out in some warehouse while I stood here helpless? I can't do this, I said, more to myself than Min-suk. I can't just wait while he... The penthouse door burst open. Joon-ho stumbled in, supported by 2 of his men. Blood soaked through his shirt on the left side, and his face was pale, jaw clenched in pain. Oh my God. I ran to him. What happened? Min-suk, call the doctor. Already on his way, Min-suk said, helping ease Joon-ho onto the couch. It's just a graze, Joon-ho managed, but his voice was strained. Maya, I'm fine. You're bleeding through your shirt. That's not fine. My hands shook as I pressed a cushion against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. You promised you'd come back. You didn't promise you'd come back half dead. Despite the pain, he smiled slightly. You're angry with me. Of course I'm angry with you. You could have, my voice broke. You could have died. His hand came up to cup my face, his thumb brushing away a tear I didn't know I'd shed. But I didn't. Because I had something to live for. Don't. I closed my eyes. Don't say sweet things when you're bleeding all over your expensive couch. It's already ruined from yesterday's attack, he pointed out, then winced. The doctor will be here soon. It really is just a graze. A graze from what? A bullet? A knife? What happened out there? Joon-ho's expression darkened. You were right. It was a trap. But not the kind I expected. He looked at Min-suk. Tell her. Min-suk's face was grim. The warehouse attack was a diversion. While Mr. Lee responded, the Jade Serpents sent a team here. To take you. My blood ran cold. What? They didn't know about our secondary security protocols, Min-suk continued. We eliminated them before they breached the building. But Miss Washington, they had photos of you. Instructions to bring you back alive. I felt sick. For what? For leverage, Joon-ho said quietly. And to hurt me in ways bullets never could. The doctor arrived then, a stern woman in her 50s who shooed everyone away except one assistant. I refused to leave, and after one look at my face, she didn't argue. The bullet grazed his ribs, she explained in accented English while cleaning the wound. Painful but not life-threatening. He'll need rest and antibiotics. He won't rest, I said. Then you'll have to make him. The doctor gave me a knowing look. He listens to you more than he listens to reason. After she stitched and bandaged the wound, prescribing a list of care instructions, she left with a warning that Joon-ho was to do nothing strenuous for at least a week. A week? Joon-ho protested from the couch. I have. A week, I repeated firmly. Min-suk can handle things. Right, Min-suk? Min-suk actually smiled. Of course, Miss Washington. When everyone finally left us alone, I sat carefully beside Joon-ho on the couch. He looked exhausted, the pain medication the doctor had given him making his eyes heavy. You scared me, I said softly. I scared myself. He reached for my hand. When Min-suk radioed that there was a team heading here, heading for you. Maya, I've never driven that fast in my life. All I could think about was getting back before. But you did. You got back. I squeezed his hand. And I'm safe. This time. His voice was rough. But there will be a next time. And a time after that. The serpents won't stop until one of us is dead. Then we end them first. He stared at me. We? You think I'm just going to sit here painting my nails while people try to kill us? I raised an eyebrow. I'm from Atlanta, Joon-ho. I'm not some delicate flower. I never thought you were delicate. A smile tugged at his lips. But you're also not trained for this kind of war. Then train me. Teach me to shoot, to fight, to protect myself. I leaned closer. You said I was yours. That means we're in this together. Partners. Partners, he repeated slowly, like testing the word. Maya, you understand what that means? If we do this together, if you choose this life, there's no going back. You'll be marked. Known as mine. Every enemy I have becomes your enemy. Every enemy you have already is my enemy, I pointed out. They already tried to take me tonight. At least if I know how to fight back, I'm not helpless. He studied me for a long moment, and I saw the war in his eyes, the desire to keep me safe versus the desire to keep me close. Okay, he said finally. Partners. But we do this my way. You follow orders, you train properly, and if I say run, you run. Understood? Understood. I smiled. Though I should warn you, I'm terrible at following orders. I've noticed. He pulled me closer, carefully minding his injury. Come here. I curled against his uninjured side, my head on his shoulder. We sat like that in comfortable silence, his fingers trailing through my curls. Tell me about your art, he said quietly. The pieces you wanted to showcase at the gala. Before everything went wrong. So I told him. About the young artists I'd discovered in Atlanta, painters and sculptors who mixed traditional African techniques with contemporary urban themes. About the pushback I'd faced from established galleries who didn't think the work was marketable. About my vision to create bridges between cultures, to show that art transcends borders and prejudices. You're passionate, Joon-ho observed. When you talk about art, you light up. Your whole face changes. Art saved me, I admitted. When my father left, when I felt invisible in a world that didn't want to see me, art let me be seen. Let me matter. You matter, he said fiercely. Never doubt that. I'm starting to believe it. I looked up at him. Being here, with you, as crazy as this situation is, I feel more myself than I have in years. No pretending, no code switching, no trying to be palatable enough for white gallery owners. Good. He kissed the top of my head. Never be anything but exactly who you are. We stayed like that until the pain medication pulled him under. I felt his breathing even out, his body finally relaxing into sleep. But I stayed awake, watching over him like he'd watched over me. Min-suk appeared silently, offering a blanket. You should rest too, Miss Washington. I will. Soon. I adjusted the blanket over Joon-ho carefully. Min-suk, what he said earlier, about ending the serpents. Is it possible? Min-suk's expression was unreadable. With Mr. Lee, anything is possible. He's been waiting for the right moment to strike. Perhaps now that he has something, someone, to protect beyond revenge, he'll be more focused. More dangerous. Or more reckless, I said quietly. Perhaps both. Min-suk moved toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, Miss Washington, I've never seen him like this. In 15 years of service, I've never seen him care about anything except his mission. You've changed something in him. He's changed something in me too. After Min-suk left, I let myself admit the truth I'd been avoiding. I loved him. Completely, irrationally, impossibly, I loved Lee Joon-ho. The mafia boss who'd kidnapped me. The broken man trying to outrun his sister's ghost. The protector who'd taken a bullet meant for someone else. And somehow, that love didn't feel wrong. It felt like the only right thing in a world gone mad. 3 days later, everything changed. Joon-ho was healing faster than expected. Stubborn man refused to stay in bed despite doctor's orders. He'd been teaching me to shoot in the penthouse's private range, his body pressed against mine as he adjusted my grip, his breath warm on my neck. "Focus, Maya," he murmured. "Stop thinking about kissing me and concentrate on the target." "Who says I was thinking about kissing you? Your pupils dilate every time I get close. And you bite your lip." He demonstrated by gently tugging my bottom lip free with his thumb. "Like that." I shot the target dead center. "See?" I turned in his arms. "I focus better when you distract me." He laughed, a real, genuine laugh, and kissed me. We were so caught up in each other that we almost missed Min-suk's urgent entrance. "Boss. We have a problem." Joon-ho tensed immediately. "What kind of problem?" "The good kind." Min-suk's smile was predatory. "We found Director Park." My blood froze. "Park? From the museum?" "He's been working with the Jade Serpents this whole time," Joon-ho explained, his voice turning cold. "The poison wasn't meant for me, Maya. It was meant for you." The room spun. "What? Why would Park want to?" "Because you threatened everything he built." Min-suk pulled up a file on his tablet. "Director Park has been embezzling from the museum for years. Your exhibition would have brought too much scrutiny, too many important eyes on the finances. He needed you gone." "But the serpents?" "Were hired to handle it," Joon-ho finished. "Park made a deal with Kang Dae-young, eliminate you, and Park would help the serpents launder money through the museum. But when I intervened, when I took you, the serpents saw an opportunity. Why kill you when they could use you to destroy me?" Rage burned through my veins. "He tried to murder me over money? Over his career?" "He's not the first person to kill for less," Joon-ho said darkly. "But he will be the last person to threaten you." "Min-suk, where is he?" "Our men have him at the warehouse. Waiting for your orders." Joon-ho turned to me. "This is your choice, Maya. He tried to kill you. You deserve to decide his fate." "You want me to," I couldn't finish the sentence. "Joon-ho, I can't just order someone's death." "Then order his justice." His eyes were intense. "He won't face trial, he has too many connections, too much money. He'll walk free and try again. Or..." He let the word hang. I thought about Director Park's sneer when I'd pitched my exhibition. His thinly veiled racism, his dismissal of urban art as beneath the museum's standards. How he'd smiled to my face while plotting my murder. "I want to see him," I said. "I want to hear him admit what he did." Joon-ho studied my face. "Are you sure?" "I need to look him in the eye. I need him to see that he failed." 20 minutes later, we pulled up to the warehouse, the same one that had been attacked days ago. Now it was rebuilt, secured, and currently housing one terrified museum director. Park was tied to a chair, his expensive suit rumpled, his face bruised. When he saw me, his eyes widened. "Miss Washington, thank God. These men kidnapped me, they're criminals, you have to stop." My voice cut through his pleading. "I know everything, Director Park. The embezzlement. The deal with the Jade Serpents. The poison." His face went pale. "You don't understand. The museum was failing. I had debts, pressures. So you decided to kill me?" Anger made my voice shake. "I came to Seoul with nothing but passion and hope. I wanted to build bridges between our cultures. And you tried to murder me because I might expose your theft?" It wasn't personal. It was completely personal. I stepped closer, feeling Joon-ho's protective presence behind me. You looked at me and saw someone less than. Someone disposable. Someone whose life mattered less than your bank account. Park's face twisted with ugly desperation. You think you're better than me? You're sleeping with a gangster. A criminal. At least I. Joon-ho moved so fast I barely saw it. His hand wrapped around Park's throat, his voice deadly calm. Finish that sentence. Please. Joon-ho. I touched his arm. He's not worth it. It took visible effort, but Joon-ho released Park and stepped back. You're right. He's not. He pulled out his phone. Min-suk, send the evidence package to Prosecutor Kim. All of it, the embezzlement records, the communications with the serpents, everything. Wait, Park's voice rose in panic. You can't. I'll be ruined. You should have thought of that before you tried to kill an innocent woman, Joon-ho said coldly. You wanted to destroy Maya's career? Consider yours destroyed instead. You'll spend the next 20 years in prison thinking about your choices. As Min-suk's men took Park away, still protesting, I felt something release in my chest. Thank you, I told Joon-ho. For letting me face him. For choosing the legal route instead of what I wanted to do. He pulled me close. You're changing me, Maya. Making me want to be better. Be more. You were always more, I said. You just needed someone to see it. Back at the penthouse, we stood on the repaired balcony, Seoul's lights spreading below us like fallen stars. Joon-ho wrapped his arms around me from behind, and I leaned into his warmth. With Park arrested and his testimony, the serpent's laundering operation is exposed, he said quietly. Kang Dae-young will have to answer to his own organization for the failure. He's finished. So it's over? I hardly dared to hope. The immediate threat, yes. But Maya. He turned me to face him. My world will always have dangers. There will always be someone who wants what I have, who sees you as a weakness to exploit. Then they're fools, I said firmly. Because I'm not your weakness. I'm your strength. We're stronger together. His smile was soft, almost vulnerable. How did I get so lucky? You caught me when I fell. I touched his face. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life grateful that you did. He kissed me then, deep and slow and full of promise. When we broke apart, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Joon-ho. Wait. He opened it, revealing not a ring but a key. The key to your own gallery. I bought the building 3 blocks from here, it's yours. Space for your artists, your vision, your bridge between cultures. Tears blurred my vision. You didn't have to. I wanted to. You came to Seoul with a dream. Park tried to destroy it. I want to help you build it bigger than you ever imagined. He cupped my face. Stay with me, Maya. Not as my prisoner or my responsibility. Stay as my partner. My equal. My. Yes, I interrupted. Yes to all of it. The gallery, the partnership, the life we'll build together. Yes. His kiss was answer and promise and beginning all at once. 6 months later, I stood in my gallery, *crossroads, where cultures meet *, surrounded by the artwork I'd dreamed of showcasing. African American artists alongside Korean masters, urban murals next to traditional paintings, a celebration of everything that made both cultures beautiful. Joon-ho stood beside me in a perfectly tailored suit, his hand protective on my waist. Min-suk worked security, now also my gallery manager. Sarah had forgiven me, sort of, and was talking to potential buyers. Nervous? Joon-ho murmured. Terrified, I admitted. What if no one comes? What if? The gallery doors opened. People flooded in, critics, collectors, artists. The crowd kept growing until the space was packed with people admiring, discussing, buying. My father appeared in the doorway. I froze. He walked slowly through the crowd until he stood before me. We hadn't spoken since I'd told him I was staying in Seoul, staying with Joon-ho. He'd called me foolish, reckless, throwing my life away. Dad. I was wrong. His voice was rough with emotion. About everything. About your art, your choices, your strength. Maya, you did this. You actually did it. I couldn't speak past the lump in my throat. He pulled me into a hug, the first in over a decade. I'm proud of you, he whispered. So damn proud. Later that night, after the last guest left and the sold stickers dotted half the artwork, Joon-ho and I stood alone in the gallery. Any regrets? He asked, echoing the question from months ago. I thought about the woman I'd been, afraid to take up space, desperate to prove her worth, playing it safe. Then I thought about the woman I'd become, bold, confident, living a life that was messy and dangerous and absolutely mine. Not a single one, I said. You whispered you are mine now that first night. But the truth is, Joon-ho, I was never yours. And you were never mine. His expression faltered. Maya. We're ours, I finished. We belong to each other. Partners in everything. And that's so much better than possession. His smile was brilliant. Partners in everything, he agreed, pulling me close. I caught you when you fell. And I caught you right back, I said, kissing him. Now we rise together. Outside, Seoul glittered with possibility. Inside, surrounded by art that bridged worlds, we held each other tight, two people who'd found home in the most unexpected place. In each other's arms.